Grid Finder is the home of sim racing leagues. Our management tools allow you to recruit drivers and monitor their ratings and live splits. Find this and more at gridfinder.com. Sign up for free today.
Good evening and a very warm welcome to the 750 Motor Club's first venture into esports territory. This is the 750 Motor Club Sim Championship powered by Grid Finder. We have got 5 different events, 5 different car track combinations to come over the next 10 weeks, and they're all fighting for a modicum of prizes from our various sponsors. My name is Chris Stevens. Alongside me for this journey is Chris Buxton. Chris, I mean, we've got some good stuff to be looking forward to. All these different car track combinations that we've got to look forward to over the coming weeks.
Absolutely. So a variety of different circuits of the shorter nature, granted, but very, very testing. Now, we are in the Toyota MR2 GTS for this series. A single make series always creates some amazing close racing. And looking even at the qualifying times for this track alone, we start at Silverstone, the home of British motorsport. The times are very, very close. Now, one thing that always kind of intrigues those that are taking their first kind of steps into sim racing, particularly as obviously we're now entering the winter phase, where we can't scratch that motor racing itch, about how well some drivers can make that transition over from the track to the sim racing side. A lot of transferable skills, absolutely so, but there's certain subtle differences that some people adjust to a little bit quicker than others. So it's going to be fantastic to see. I've been so looking forward to this series. I am really honoured to be part of it, and just want to crack on, get in there and get on with it. But we've got 3 15-minute races that await us per round. As Chris has mentioned, we are here at Silverstone on the national circuit, so obviously shorter layout, but even still, it is a fantastic showcase, great venue to kick off this amazing series.
Yeah, we're going to be racing at 5 different venues across this inaugural season. Some of the best, actually, that the Assetto Corsa platform has to offer. That is what we are using here. And so we mentioned different car track combinations. For this opening round, it is the Toyota MR2 Championship. Each of the different cars mirrors a real-life 750 Motor Club formula. So we've got the MR2s here at Silverstone National. Then on December 16th, we will have the Mazda 7s out at Croft. December 30th, the Type R Trophy at Cadwell Park. January the 7th, we'll have the bike sports out, those motorcycle engined prototypes out at Alton Park. And then the season finale taking place on January the 20th with the F1000s at Donington Park. And 3 different races per event, as we mentioned. The first race, set by qualifying. Then we have a top 10 reverse grid race that's based off the results of race 1, and then race 2 sets the race order, the grid order for race number 3. No reverse in that scenario though. All 15 minutes each, so a lot of short, sharp, fast action, just like you get in the real life 750 Motor Club races. And we're all competing for a lot of different prizes. So the champion will be given from Moser Racing, partner of the championship, an R5 bundle pedal and wheel combination worth £500 plus a ticket to the 750 Motor Club Awards Night on February the 10th. Second place in the championship, their prize comes from AE Racing. That will be training from a current GT3 driver plus a rig mat from Upshift store. And then third place in the championship will get a Track Racer seat mount kit plus £50 vouchers for Tegiwa.com. And that's another partner in the real 750 Motor Club championships as well. And every single podium finisher that we get across the different races will get a Track Titan training subscription in addition to a 750 Motor Club trophy. So lots at stake here.
Absolutely. So incredible lineup of prizes available for this championship. I mean, the tickets to the 750 MC Award Nights alone at the Crown Plaza in Stratford upon Avon. What an incredible venue for available to the overall winner of the championship of over the 5 races, of course. So huge thanks to Moser Racing, to AE Racing, to Upshift Store, to Tagiwa. I keep tripping over the name. My apologies, and to all of the partners, broadcasting and sponsorship that have been involved in this series. It is wonderful to see so many names really backing this sim racing championship moving forwards. It's a great way to, like I said earlier, a wonderful way to satisfy that motor racing itch when the winter months doth descend.
Absolutely, and because this is sim racing involved with the 750 Motor Club, we've got a combination of sim racers and 750 Motor Club members. We have a packed 30-car grid. That's a full grid for each of the rounds, and that includes 14 active 750 Motor Club members, and a lot of the other racers in this championship are involved in the 750 Motor Club in some way, either with a team or with a driver, or they're former members who have left racing behind in the real world because they've moved, or they've moved on to different things. But there's a lot of 750 Motor Club history in this sim championship, and it's only just getting off the mark. This is the first time that we've done something like this, so it's going to be an exciting one. And pretty soon, in just under 4 minutes time, we'll be getting underway for the first race of the night.
Absolutely so. So the grid for race number 1 has been formed from a pre-run qualifying session. Now that session was available pretty much all day, and there were over 2,000 laps set across the participating drivers. Not all drivers were able to participate, but I'm looking at the gap between each car. Now, yes, granted, it's a shorter track, so you would expect the times to be very close, but bearing in mind, these Toyota's MR2s are quite... They're nippy little cars, but they do need a little while to get the horses galloping, so you don't tend to get towards the top end too quickly. But we're seeing, in some cases, less than a tenth of a second between certain competitors. And as you say, Chris, there are almost half the grid formed from active 750 members, and the rest being made up from those that maybe have a bit more experience with sim racing, but also involved in the 750 Motor Club in some way, shape or form. So it's going to be interesting, as I was alluding to earlier, to see how the racing aces of the 750 Motor Club really make the sim racing experts work hard for their money.
Certainly do, and this first meeting will be the Toyota MR2 Championship. So that in the real world was founded in 2008, supported by Toyo Tires, and there are 3 different cars, or 3 different versions of the MR2 that are run. You have the 1.6 litre Mark 1, the 2-litre Mark II, which tends to be the fastest of the 3 variations, and the Mark III Roadster. The one in the Assetto Corsa mod is the GTS, so slightly newer version that we're running here, and it's a little bit different to what it is in the real world, but if it's anything like the real world championship, then we're in for a real treat. It's been one of the best championships in the 750 Motor Club ever since it arrived on the scene in 2008. This year alone, the championship fight went down to the final race at Alton Park. Adam Lockwood defying Sean Traynor, another title in that particular series. It went right down to the wire, and all because Sean Traynor accidentally knocked his car out of gear before the lights went out for that final race and dropped right down the order. And Adam Lockwood got very timely first win of the season in that particular race. So if it's anything like that, we're in for a real treat. And just looking at some of the names we've got here, and if they're in the order in our timing screen at the moment that they're going to be lining up in, then we're going to have a 750 Motor Club racer and a sim racer starting on the front row of the grid, and that pretty much just shows you how close the competition is going to be between these 2 different class of drivers that we've got.
Absolutely so. Trafford King being the pole sitters. We now head trackside as everybody is just gridding up. Trafford King, even though he did have a bit of about 0.2 of a second advantage over Finley Tidmaster, joins him on the front row. He'd still used 64 laps just to cut his teeth and to make sure he is fully comfortable. But we are getting ready for Northampton's finest. So, the light doth come on. It is time to go racing here in Silverstone. Wait for it. The engine revs rise. We are racing now. Who's going to be bravest on the brakes coming down into turn one? Let us see. Lots of fitting. Oh, the disaster in the back already. Some people forgetting where the loud pedal was.
Yeah, a bit of carnage at the back of the field already to be expected. It looked like our pole sitter, Trafford King, got away very nicely. He is an early favourite for this as a real-life 750 Motor Club race. He was the top rookie in the Type R trophy, as it looked like second place. Got it all wrong going into Maggots for the first time. That looks to have promoted Ben Goodwin up into second place in the red car, and then the silver car of Steve Bentley now in third place. But Trafford King going off like a scalded cat, 2.5 seconds clear already, and we're only just coming to the end of the Wellington Straight for the first time. Bit of side-by-side into Brooklands between the green car. They're leaning on the silver as it tries to find a way through. One going on the grass there. That seemed to be James Madden trying to get through. It was in the fourth place there, moving up ahead of Parsona.
Well, yes, not an ideal start for Finley Tidmarsh. I wonder whether he was helped to exit stage right. Whoops, that's someone taking an inventive line through Luffield there, backwards through the camera shot, as we now look at the man with the most difficult name to pronounce, Rizzoli Paniotti. I knew I wouldn't get it right, but yeah, I'm sure he appreciates the effort. Oh, that's someone that's gone wide through Cartridge's turn one in this particular layout. There's Sean Warby currently in 12th position, just surviving the early carnage. Is James Power on his inside line. Oh, that's gotten a little bit uncomfortable coming through the Maggot chicane, but now that the field has broadly established a running order, they should now start to get into a bit of a rhythm, but that's part of the nature of racing, particularly in single spec. It's difficult to establish that early kind of pecking order, as Adam Parsonage, he's got very, very deep coming into Brooklands, but does manage to hold on to that 8th spot. Or does he? Immediately being challenged by Heisman now as they come through the long right-hander. Feels quite, these cars probably feel quite heavy because they're close to road spec in this particular mod, but either way, they're giving it everything they've got.
Yeah, David Heisman there giving it everything in that 9th place car, trying to get up on Parsonage. He's another real-life 750 Motor Club racer, is Heisman. He's spent 12 years racing in the BMW Car Club Championship, and that's been with the 750 Motor Club for the last few years. We've got battle for 5th place here by the looks of it. Keith Whitby coming under pressure in that blue car as they make their way down the Wellington Straight out of Maggots. He's coming under pressure from Harvey Pullinger by the looks of it in the red car for 4th place actually, sorry, and he's being chased by the 2 silver cars of Alex Forster and Adam Parsonage. So it's getting pretty close into Brooklands once again. Race leader has absolutely left this lot for dust. He's 3.7 seconds clear of Ben Goodwin in 2nd place, and then Steve Bentley only 0.4 of a second behind him as well. But Keith Whitby here is certainly the one under the biggest amount of pressure at the moment, with pulling Forrester and Parsonage right on his tail. A little bit further back, we've got Andrew Cooper there in 19th place, make that 18th place now by the looks of it, as he potentially got round Sam Warby there, and going through Woodcote now side by side, still following Andrew Cooper here, and it's actually Woodvin behind him that we were looking at, and Alex Forster here looks like he's gone for a spin out of Cox Corner. Another one following on the exit as well. Safe to say they're not quite taking to this as well as they would in the real life races, but no repair bills, so they can afford to throw caution to the wind a little bit.
Well, absolutely so, but they're still proving a bit of a challenge to race, and Alex Forster proving that one mistake can be exceedingly costly, falling quite a way down the field. Our podium 3 may well have chanked out a little bit, but there's still, as you would always expect, lots of close racing a little bit further back. Oh, that's David Heasman getting a bit of a nudge. Oh, yeah, giving John Power a bit of a punch in the face as the blue MR2 spins around, finds himself. Wow, he did end up leaving quite a long way stage right through Luffield. And with that little contretemps, finds himself now down into 15th position as we now look at Harvey Pullinger as he's chasing Keith Whitby. That's a challenge, 4th position. They have left behind Parsonage in the number 6 car. Of course, these cars don't have car numbers, so we have to rely on them purely by their position and colour. But now we're starting to see those that have gotten a bit more of a grip, figuratively and literally, with these cars really getting into a rhythm. But this is where pressure management comes in. A lot of the real life racers, of course, will be very used to that, but those that are more used to sim racing may not be quite as adept at handling the pressure, having those ever present lights bearing down on you through the rear view mirror. Some people can just learn to ignore them. Some people kind of panic a little bit. I put myself very much in that latter bracket as far as sim racing is concerned. What little sim racing I've done! This Andrew Cooper gets the tail wagging coming into Brooklands. That's going to cost him. Looks stylish, not the quickest way to go, but just about wrestles that 17th back from Mr. Cornelius.
Yeah, nice bit of drive in there. Safe to say that the MR2, potentially one of the harder cars to drive that we've got on this particular rostrum for this season. There's certainly been a bit of debate about it in the chats that the drivers have been having amongst their private testing. 3,200 laps turned in preparation for this week's racing, and that was just on the official practice service. That doesn't include all the private laps that these guys might have done. So they've done an awful lot of preparation to get ready for this first race of the season. Looks like that battle for 3rd place is closing up a little bit, with Steve Bentley now having Keith Whitby and Harvey Pullinger closing down on him. There's about 1.8 seconds covering those three, not just in 750 Motor Club history, but racing history in general.
What an incredible pedigree. And again, it just goes to show the sort of quality of not just driver, but person and skill that the 750 Club has enjoyed for a number of years. 750 MC being one of the oldest British motor racing clubs in existence. It attracts a wide range of people, not just veterans of the sport, but very welcoming to newcomers. As long as you're sensible, you are always welcome in the 750 Motor Club. Oh, that's a good move there from Alex Forster to try and wrestle that spot from Alex Rizzoli. Paniotis Lumbropopoulos, that's a little closer to his. I have been practicing his name, but I still can't get it right. I did have a joke with him. I said I apologise in advance, but I'm sure he's used to it. Oh, Alex Harron trying to get the line coming through Marcus Beckers. Oh, there's trouble up ahead. That's Heasman was one of those cars a little bit sideways. I can't quite fathom. Might be James Madden that is the other one. As it was indeed, and there's still a car stationary on the grass at the Maggotts hairpin. That's Swift that is now falling through the field.
Yeah, a couple of dramas in a few hundred metres there as we've got cars coming down the timing order. James Madden was one of them. This is Dave Heasman trying to get back up on things, looking up the inside here of Titmarsh and just tags the corner of Titmarsh's car, and he ends up facing the wrong way down at Luffield, but he's got going once again. Finley Titmarsh, one of the sim racers that we have joining us, and he's again, well, not a very experienced one actually. He said his main experience is practicing against the quote miserably slow AI.
Well, I mean, we all have to cut our teeth somewhere, but it's a very, very different matter taking that practice against real life drivers, and that's Colin Cunniff nearly being joined in his car by, I think that was Alex Rizzoli, Paniotis Lumbropoulos again. That was a very, very sideways. It's a very unnerving moment when you as a driver, you're concentrating on your own lines, your own braking point, and you see an incident taking part either near you, or in front of you, or near you in some way. You're hoping not to be kind of collected in it. But so far so good for Colin Cunliffe, continuing to work his way up the field. Colin qualified. Well, he qualified in 5th. He has lost a few, but he has been gaining a few positions back since a little bit more of a difficult start. But that isn't necessarily reflective of the driver at all. Like you've already said, Chris, these cars are notoriously difficult to drive. You see the purple flash on the lap time. That's a personal best from that particular driver. I think it's fair to say that Trafford King has the fastest lap of the race very firmly in his pocket. That's a slow Max Spooner. I'm guessing he had trouble coming out of Luffield. That's pushing him further towards the tail of the field. A little bit unfortunate, but still going nonetheless.
Certainly is, and yes, you're absolutely right. Trafford King very much setting the pace. We've got a bit more contact. Dave Heisman, is that the second contact he's had in about 3 laps there? He's punted another one off by the looks of it. Could be one for the stewards to take a look at if that's how things are moving going forward. But for now, he's up into 12th place. This is John Power in 9th, looking at the back of Colin Cunliffe there for 8th place. Only half a second separating them as they head out of Luffield and complete another lap. Colin Cunliffe not been with the 750 Motor Club in the last couple of years. I think his last outing was 2 races in the Alfa Romeo Championship in 2021 and has been a bit on-off with iRacing recently, but doing a good job in 8th place at the moment, coming under pressure from John Power. They've got about 2.5 seconds back to Alex Hurren in 10th place there, so we can afford to look forward.
I do believe that Colin's part of a racing family of Cunniffes. I do believe that the Cunliffe family has taken part in, amongst other things, the Race of Remembrance over in Anglesey in a Citroen C1. Of all cars to take for a 24-hour jaunt, the C1 seems an interesting decision, but that is what the Cunliffe family decided to field on that particular occasion. He's in between Forster and Power at this particular point. Just a couple of minutes to go as we see Steve Bentley and also Harvey Pulling getting their fastest laps on the board as well. Keith Whitby, he's been hustling for that 4th position all race long as we see Colin Cunliffe getting a decent run up to the line. Is he going to commit to it? He had a bit of a hesitation there. He went to, decided not to, and then decided to.
For 7th place between Alex Forster and Colin Cunliffe. Heading towards Beckett's now, and that looks like John Power trying to get around the outside at Maggots as well. He's in the blue car in 9th place at the moment. Got a nice little up and under there. He could have a run down the Wellington Straight. Looks like they're side by side, and he's going to have a slipstream as well from Alex Forster, which is pretty handy there. But Cunliffe will have the inside line when they get to the left-hander at Brooklands. And he just is able to fend off, but he runs a little bit wide, and Power's going to come underneath him. Again, though, Cunliffe will have the line into Luffield as we enter the final minute of this race. So Trafford King may well be on his final lap of the race now. Looks like he might squeeze one more out of this, actually. Depends when the checkered flag is going to come out. But Trafford King has just been absolutely sensational in this opening race of the season. His experience in the Tagiwa Type R Trophy for this year is his first year of racing full stop, and he was the highest placed rookie, 6th,
7th in the end, managing to wrestle that spot from Alex Forster with Power and Hurren rounding out the top 10.
Yep, so Trafford King, first winner in the 750 Motor Club Sim Championship powered by Grid Finder. He kicks off the season in fantastic fashion with victory in the MR2 Championship here at Silverstone National. 2 more races still to come, though, of course, and he will be starting the second race in 10th place, as it is the top 10 reverse grid race. And starting on pole for that one will be Alex Hurren, as he finished 10th in that race just now. Ben Goodwin and Steve Bentley joining Trafford King on the podium.
Wow, what an incredible race, and exactly as we were surmising at the beginning of the show, Chris, we were very much looking forward to very much close racing. Yes, we saw Traffic King and, in fairness, Ben Goodwin as well, very much in a class of one. Steve Bentley forcing his way through, slightly disingenuous, fighting his way through to that third spot.
It's 20 for the win, 19 for second place, 18 for third, etc., all the way down to 20th, and a bonus point for fastest lap that Traffic King was able to secure in that first race. Traffic King, you might be thinking it already, but he is named after the Old Trafford football stadium, apparently. That's what he's told us, anyway. And a modicum of sponsors that he has supporting him as well, including Black Magic Customs and DH Racing, as well as Nimbus Motorsport, who have helped him out over the course of the season. Looking to stay with the Takira Type R Trophy for a second year in 2024. That could well be a title charge after a very impressive rookie season.
Absolutely so. Hopefully we'll have the opportunity to have a chat with one or two of our podium finishers throughout the evening. They don't have to make themselves available, but it is always nice to have a chat with our drivers. Sadly, we don't get the option as we do trackside to basically just shove a microphone straight under the nose. They do have to make themselves available, but I do believe we are getting our race number one winner ready to come and have a chat to us.
Probably. Might be a bit cautious because I saw a bit of contact behind, and then while I was coming through on some back markers there was a load of accidents in front of me, so it's probably just a case of keeping out of trouble in this one.
I see. And for those that you've had a lot of success trackside as well, how easy do you find it transitioning from trackside racing to sim racing? It was a lot you have to adjust.
Personally, no. I'd take a lot from this into trackside racing, but I think that's just from doing it as a kid. So it's one of them where it's like I've just grown up with it. So I suppose it's probably more transitioning from this to trackside than trackside to sim racing.
Wonderful stuff. Any questions from you, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, while I've got you, Trafford, obviously you were top rookie in the Takira Type R Trophy for this year. We've got the Type Rs coming up at the third round of the season at Cadwell Park as well. So can we expect to see you equally as fast in that car, or indeed the other cars that we've got racing in the 5 different car track combos that we've got for this championship?
Yeah, fingers crossed. I've done a bit of testing in Type R. On Assetto, the Cadwell seems to be a bit smaller than what it is in real life with Civics, so it'll be interesting racing around there. But yeah, pace seems good. So
all right, excellent. And we'll see you on the Type R grid for next year, yeah?
Yeah, you will.
Awesome. Right, well, the 5-minute countdown has already started for race number 2, so we'll let you get on and get prepped for the second race of the night.
No worries. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you. So that was Traffic King, our race 1 winner. Coming up next in just under 4 minutes time now, it is the second race of the night. This is the top 10 reverse grid race. So we've taken that order from race number 1, flipped the top 10 on its head, and that has put Alex Hurren on reverse grid pole for this one, with Alex Forster starting alongside him on the grid. Colin Cunniff will be third on the grid ahead of Keith Whitby. And then we will get into some of our other drivers. Looks like the grid is still forming, actually. So I'll give you the rest of the grid when it's picked up a little bit, because right now it's showing Traffic King starting in 24th place, and I don't think that's quite correct. So we'll look at that in just a little bit. But 3 minutes to go until the second race. And Chris, this is where we see a little bit more chaos because of that reverse grid element.
Yeah, starting in 24th, that will be quite a severe winner's penalty. I've heard of various different ideas towards applying that. No, that's just the server hasn't caught up with itself yet. He will be starting from 10th position. Now, we saw a fair amount of chaos on the start of the first race. Well, that was people starting in the positions they were supposed to. This was more towards the back of the field. whilst I was a little bit surprised by that, I'm not meaning to sound disingenuous at all. Trafford alluded to the fact that he's kind of grown up with sim racing, so he's familiar with how the feel of it, with the things you need to adjust to, and as he says, the bigger change would be from sim racing to trackside than the other way around. However, there will be those that the sim racing really hasn't entered their lives much before, or recent years. Certainly COVID brought a lot of attention to sim racing and gave it a lot of traction, pun intended, but it gave an outlet for a series such as this where motor clubs could essentially have something to do in the winter months, but also as a means to advertise what the club can offer when we come to spring again. Again, this is a wonderful opportunity for those that are considering getting into motorsport on a obviously trackside basis, to see what is on offer. And a series like this, exactly as you said, Chris, very a very, very popular series within the 750 Motor Club, is now being highlighted in its sim racing guise. So you asked me a question and I completely wandered off topic, so my apologies for that. But yes, I do expect to see some chaos. But yeah, I mean, Trafford did allude to the fact that people now have now they've had a taste of these cars under race conditions. Maybe there'll be a few of those that may be a little bit less heavy on the right foot than they have been in race one. But I think when the lights go out, when the racing instinct kicks in, let's face it, racing drivers are racing drivers. They're still going to try and push and make good on the gaps that they see.
They certainly will. As we go to the grid for the second race, so I'll run you through while we wait for lights out. It's Alex Harron on reverse grid pole position, with John Power starting alongside him in the blue car. Alex Forster and Colin Cunniff on the second row of the grid. Then comes Adam Parsonage and Harvey Pullinger on row number 3. Keith Whitby and Steve Bentley will start on row number 4. Then comes Ben Goodwin and Trafford King, our race 1 winner, starting from 10th place. Daniel Marshall and James Madden on the 6th row of the grid, as we have the lights on now for the reverse grid race. Away we go, and the cars reach backwards as they put the power down, but a nice start made by the pole sitter. But John Power is looking towards the inside. Forster and Cunniff going side by side through Cops Corner for the first time as well, but it is our pole sitter Alex Hurren who is leading the way ahead of John Power as they make their way towards Beckett's for the first time. Little bit of jostling towards the back and the midfield of the order. Looked like two cars went flying off the road there, squabbling for position. But John Power there we see in second place in that blue car, being chased by the two silver cars of Alex Forster and Colin Cunniff, coming under quite a bit of pressure actually, because Harron is pulling 3 or 4 tenths of a second on him already. But that closes up in the slipstream down the Wellington Straight for the first time. And they see they take quite a bit of that curve at Brooklands. There is wide there was Forster. That's put Cunniff alongside him. He'll be on the outside line. Oh, a big twitch though through Luffield, and he has to settle for 4th place. That attempt to move himself up into the podium place is not successful. Cold tyres and a bit of dirt offline potentially coming into play there as they complete the first lap.
They complete the first lap, and it's been a disastrous start from our race 1 winner, Trafford King, near the back of the field, down in 29th position. But look at this, Colin Cunniff on the back of Alex Forster, challenging for the podium position. He'd had a bit of a rough start in race 1, but worked his way through the field. But can he get it done as we see? Oh dear, that's Bentley that's had a bit of a momentum falling through the tower. As you can see, he's got a great inside line as Colin Cunniff on John Power for 3rd place, coming through the maggots hairpin there. But has John Power got the momentum? No, he hasn't. John has had to concede that one. So it's Hurren from Forster from Cunniff, side by side as we come down towards Brooklands again. Colin Cunniff wants the inside line, gets a bit of a twitch, catches it nicely, but can he get the inside line for Luffield? That's going to give him the big advantage. Oh no, well no, John Power is trying to power his way through the outside line, but gets boxed in behind Forster. Now
pulling it into 3rd place as well, but coming under pressure from Alex Forster, who's got the inside line into Brooklands. And Pullinger goes up wide. The top two have come together. The top two have come together, fighting for the lead at Brooklyn's corner, and that has put Harvey Pullinger into the lead of the race.
Wow, talk about changing in the blink of an eye. Colin kind of had done all of that hard work and some brilliant moves to get himself up into the lead, and one tap there has sent him plummeting down to 10th position. My goodness me, it's not over yet. Of course, we still have 11 and a quarter minutes to go, as we're still seeing personal bests on the board, but that's Pullinger from Power. No, if your surname begins with P, you are now in podium positions. Oh no, there's trouble! That's trouble. The back is Madden. It's James Madden that has gone round again, as we saw at the back end of the shot. But now we see third position, Adam Parsonage, trying to get the momentum he needs. Doesn't want to be boxed in between himself and Pullinger and behind John Power. Thinks about an outside manoeuvre, but Harvey Pullinger is doing exactly what he needs to do. Sticks to the racing line, thinks about diving on the inside of Power, does he? We've seen how easy these cars are. Easy. Try that entire sentence again. Rather proves what I was trying to say. We've seen how easy it is for these cars to get a little bit upset, even without needing a bit of an impact, as Parsonage had to really work hard to keep his car pointing in the right direction, coming through Luffield, and he has now got Alex Forster all over his tail. Well, he's always had Alex Forster on his tail through that entire manoeuvre, but with that big moment that Parsonage had, probably a bit of a clench, I dare say, but Power now starting to get a bit of breathing space, not a lot, but it's enough at this point, over Pullinger, who's still under pressure from Parsonage.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Parsonage. Another Type R trophy racer from this season, and a lot of experience in low costs as well, but not an awful lot of experience in the sim world, but he's taken to it very nicely. And every time we get to see what the driver's hands are doing here, they are wrestling with this car, soaring at the wheel left and right as they try to get a grip of this car. So Parsonage looked like he was going to be challenging Pullinger for second place there, but now coming under big pressure, he's got a dive on the inside from Alex Forster, and wide goes Parsonage as he's got that car on his inside. The two silver cars are side by side through Luffield, and Parsonage does have the line. How's the momentum going to play out on the exit of the corner? Big twitch from Parsonage again, but Forster with that outside line able to move across and get into third place for now. 9 minutes left on the clock. It's Power leading Pulling, and Forster now in third place.
Adam Parsonage flirting with the grass on the inside line of Luffield there to try and just hold on to that inside line and not understeer into Alex Forster, overtaking him. We can see behind that particular top three, although we're now looking at Finley Tidmar. Started on the front row in race one, finds himself just back up into ninth position, as that's Rizzoli Paniotis Lambropoulos that's gone wide at Cops, so that's gifted him and several others a position. Oh, here we go again. We barely can look away from the top part of the field, which is again very typical of a reverse grid, or even part reverse grid races, as that's Adam Parsonage back up into podium spots. I think of all the alliteration of P's going on here, with the Power Pulling Parsonage in podium positions, but Alex Forster trying his best to upset that particular party.
And John Power now is starting to put his foot down. He's 1.5 seconds clear now. 8 minutes left on the clock as they tick off another lap with Harvey Pullinger in second place. Having to keep an eye on his rear view mirrors though for Adam Parsonage and Alex Forster behind him, and William Hartley not too far behind them either. And I'll tell you what, nor is Ben Goodwin, who finished second in race number one. Of the three podium sitters we had in that first race, he's the only one kind of in a decent position at the moment, as we've got Parsonage again soaring at the wheel through maggots and getting awfully close to the back of Pullinger's car. And as you see a bit of squabbling there, it looks like Will Hartley is making his way up into fourth place. Ben Goodwin follows him through as well, so that means that Colin Cunniff has dropped down quite a few number of places. Sorry, Alex Forster in the silver car has moved down quite a number of places on that one straight, trying to get one of them back though on Will Hartley. This is Ben Goodwin, who's made his way up into fourth place. He's picked up 2 places just down that one straight, so nice little move there. 1.8 seconds is the gap to Adam Parsonage. That's what separates Goodwin here and a second podium of the night.
But can he hold it? We've seen how quickly the whole feel of the race could change his passage with a really great amount of overspeed there coming through Cox. Couldn't use it though, as Pullinger just parked his car on the... I'm not intending to keep on with the P's, by the way. This is just the sentences that my brain is giving my mouth to say. So into the Maggots hairpin. Can Parsonage get the run on the outside line? Fair amount of real estate to use there, but a nice exit there from Pullinger to hold on to that second position. That's giving John Power
in the last couple of laps, but here is that battle for second place, as Parsonage has made his way past Harvey Pullinger there. Yep, so the silver car of Parsonage now into second place, and Ben Goodwin has arrived on the scene as well. He was second in race number 1. Remember, he's looking for a second podium of the night, running a little wide though into Brooklands. There's some 5 minutes on the clock left. I tell you what I do love about these cars is you can just see the weight transfer, can't you? Look at it, Alex Forster forcing a move on the inside here of Colin Cunniff at Luffield, very nearly getting it done as well, but Cunniff just able to repel his advances. Keith Whitby in the blue car in 7th place, trying to get involved in the action as well.
Absolutely. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean. There you go. Just look how far the nose dips down under braking, particularly accentuated on the brakes into Brooklands, because they've been on the gas for quite a while coming out of the Maggots hairpin, and they're braking to the slowest corner on the track. But yeah, it does look like the nose is about to actually literally eat the dirt. But Alex Forster now in between Colin Cunniff, who's been having an absolutely storming recovery drive in this race, but with less than 4 minutes to go, with 2.5 seconds between himself and Ben Goodwin, may not find too many more positions. Daniel Marshall a little bit further down the field. There is Alex Hurren that is alongside him. Max Spooner is the orange car you can see in the shot, challenging for 14th position. May not be top 10, but that doesn't mean they give it any less heart and any less determination.
Oh, Robin is racing down into Luffield as Daniel Marshall gets bullied out wide there by Max Spooner, and always returning the favour a little bit and giving Spooner something to think about as they go through Luffield. And they're going to go side by side here. This is a battle for 14th place with 3 minutes left on the clock. So this is still for a points paying position. Still there side by side as they head down the front straight. We saw Colin Cunniff there do the fastest lap of the race. That'll be an extra bonus point for him in 5th place if he can hang on to that in the remaining 3 minutes of this race. But it looks like in terms of the win, it's not too much that is going to stop John Power from taking this one. The big question remains really, who is going to be joining him on the podium? Adam Parsonage looks pretty comfortable in 2nd place, but Ben Goodwin is challenging for his 2nd podium of the night. The 2 red cars of Goodwin and Harvey Pullinger battling for the last spot on the podium as they make their way out of Luffield once again. And there doesn't seem to be an awful lot that Ben Goodwin can do here, but Harvey Pullinger really soaking up this pressure here. He doesn't have any real-world racing experience, and he says he doesn't have any sim look at the flashing of the lights there. It's brilliant.
I love that. Any means to distract the driver ahead of you. Some will frown upon that. Some will think that the flashing of the lights should only be used to indicate you're lapping a driver. But they're out there racing, having a good time. These guys know the deal. They know what it's like. But look right behind them. Colin Cunniff, because Goodwin and Pullinger have been arguing, that has allowed Colin Cunniff, the man with the ever-decreasing fastest lap as well, to close right in on them. Could he steal away the podium? That's going to be the next question. He's had incredible pace this race, as Colin Cunniff. He's having a look on the inside line. This is likely to be... where is Jason Power? He's just about to cross the line. So this is going to... They're just coming on to their final lap. Jason Power's crossed the line now. So this will be the final lap. So Colin Cunniff is pretty much going to do all or nothing, do or die, if he wants that podium spot.
It certainly does. And it looks like Ben Goodwin's focus now is going to have to switch to what's behind him rather than what's ahead of him, as they've got a bit of lap traffic they're going to have to try and navigate as well, just to complicate matters as we're now on the final lap of the race. And we have a question mark over who will be joining John Power on the podium. He's 4 seconds clear of all this, so there's not much for him to worry about in terms of this. But the question is, will Harvey Pullinger hang on to this podium place? He's in that red car, being closely followed by this fourth place Ben Goodwin car, and the silver car of Colin Cunniff trying to challenge him as well, who's looking towards the inside of Brooke Learns for fourth place. And where's he gone? There he is. He's still on the left-hand side and still challenging Ben Goodwin, trying to get around the long way, but it doesn't look like it's going to work for him. Meanwhile, here comes John Power in the top 10 reverse grid race. He takes victory in the second race of the night. It's a maximum 20 points in this race for him. And a fantastic drive as Adam Parsonage joins him in second place, and Harvey Pullinger will hang on to third place, but not by much at all, just 0.05 of a second in the end. And somebody hasn't told them that the race is finished just yet, because they were still squabbling going into Copse Corner. But Harvey Pullinger hangs on to the podium place. Ben Goodwin and Colin Cunniff closely follow behind. Keith Whitby there in sixth place. So we've still got cars squabbling for position further down the order. Alex Forster will be in seventh place, then Finley Titmarsh in eighth. Trafford King got himself up to ninth in the end, our race one winner, and then Will Hartley will complete the top 10.
Wow, that was absolutely incredible. I hope we get to have a chat with at least John Power, our race 2 winner, because I'd love to know how much pressure he really was feeling, because it looked so nip and tuck between himself, Adam Parsonage and Harvey Pullinger for quite a while, until John was able just to get that bit of an advantage where he could then just concentrate on the road ahead. But Colin Cunniff, what a recovery drive from having that big incident fairly early on and getting up into the top 5. And of course, gotta give a huge shout out to Trafford King, going down to nearly last at the end of lap 1 to finish inside the top 10. Fantastic.
Yeah, he did quite well at Silverstone in the real world in the Type R Trophy, although they raced on the international layout this year, so not the layout that we're actually racing on, but on the international layout, he did get a fourth place finish in the first race of the weekend. The rest of the weekend didn't go so well for him, with a DNF and an 11th place finish in the other two races, but let's focus on the fourth place finish. Actually, we're looking at Silverstone results, also the international layout. Vaughan Jones, who joins us on this grid as well, the Formula V racer, he had 2 podiums at Silverstone earlier this year, so should know the track quite well.
Formula V, that again, a very, very, very different type of racing discipline to what we have here in these wonderful Toyota MR2s. Now, I myself haven't had the luxury, haven't had the joy of racing trackside. I've had the amazing privilege of being able to commentate for a number of club racing events across the country, Silverstone being one of them. I've commentated from the Maggots hairpin, but the kind of the intense atmosphere that we're enjoying here in its sim racing guys really, really does translate well in both directions, from track to sim and sim to track. Again, so for those that are thinking about going trackside, if you want to know how intense it is, this is a wonderful example.
Certainly is, and I believe we are joined in the commentary box now by our race 2 winner, John Power, in the commentary box with us now. John, that was quite a drive out there. You had to fight for it in the early stages.
Yeah, I was just thankful that everybody was so clean. It was super racing. Really enjoyed it. And got lucky, got a gap. That was it, really.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose in the early stages, especially when you guys were fighting for second place, Alex wasn't getting away so much, but once you hit the front, you were just gone.
Well, my lap times weren't quick. I was trying to hold back at where it meets the old track. Is it Beckett's? making too many mistakes there. So we just tried to drive well with myself, and of course everybody else in traffic, it slows them down. So, and the lead is pretty easy compared to that.
And of course, the next race, the order is taken from the race 2, no reverse grid. So you're going to be starting on pole for the next one. Can you hang on to that, or maybe to a podium?
Wow, my goal is top 5. It's always been, if I can finish top 5, I'll be very, very, very happy with that. And there's some really quick guys. I'm just so chuffed. It's a great series.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's great to see that we've brought in some of the best of the 750 Motor Club and some from the sim racing world as well. It's a great thing to see these sim races and the real life races come together, and the fact that we're able to include the essence of the 750 Motor Club, the cars, and the way we go about racing in this sim world as well. How have you found it so far?
Well, it's well over 40 years since I did anything in real life. So my world is sim racing for the last 2 years. So yeah, just enjoying it, trying to keep it on track amongst all these young guys.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. Well, we'll let you get ready for the third race, the third and final race of the night, John. But thanks for chatting to us, and congratulations on a marvellous win.
Thanks a lot.
That's race 2 winner John Power joining us in the commentary box. So the third race of the night, we mentioned it just a moment ago, the grid order set by the results of race number 2. So that means that John Power, having won that race, will be starting on pole position for this one. There is no reverse grid in this one, still a 15-minute race, and then that will bring about the end of the first night of 750 Motor Club Sim Championship powered by Grid Finder. Already it'll be the Toyota MR2 round done and dusted.
I want to do it again. I've had such an amazing time thus far, and as you say, we do have one more race to go. John Power and Adam Parsonage will be taking on the front row. Harvey Pullinger and Ben Goodwin will have row 2. Then Colin Cunniff, with that great recovery drive with Keith Whitby, joins him on row 3. Alex Forster and Finley Tidmarsh, the recovery king of race number 2. Beg your pardon, Trafford King was the recovery king of race 2, beg your pardon. So Alex and Finley will take on row 4. Then Trafford King, race 1 winner, and amazing comeback in race 2, alongside William Hartley on row 5. Dan Jude and Jensen Swift, row 6. Alex Hurren, James Madden, row 7. Max Spooner and Steve Bentley on row 8. Sean Warby, Andrew Cooper, row 9. Alex Rizzoli and Paniotis Lambropoulos on alongside Daniel Marshall for row 10. Pete Besley, Francis Twyman on row 11. Jonathan Hayes and David Hudson, row 12. With Peter Cornelius and Vaughan Jones, you mentioned Vaughan earlier on row 13. Andy Woodvine and Chris Humphreys bring out the tail of the field. Incredible to hear from John as well that he's been out of the racing spot for 40 years and still, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't. That just goes to show that age really is a number, certainly in the sim racing world. But I mean, we do see, don't we, Chris, a lot of shall we say veterans of the world that are still able to really put on amazing real-life racing performances. So age really is not a huge factor when it comes to racing like this.
Yes, in fact, yeah, John Power, in his 60s, he was karting in the 1970s and then did a little bit of Formula Ford and rallying back then. But yeah, it's been 3 years on Assetto Corsa for him, and he says that his pension fund only extends to free online racing, basically. That's why he hasn't been racing. But yeah, for a man in his 60s, doing an absolutely fantastic job. Just while we've got a couple of minutes still before we go to the grid for the final race of the night, we'll just let you know, if you haven't already seen, for the first time, the 750 Motor Club is offering a early bird discount for the 2024 registration. So if you register for your membership between the 22nd of January and the 5th of February, you are going to be eligible for one of three free 2024 race entry fees, one of three fee 2024 pre-season track day or Croft test day places, one of 5 free 750 Motor Club beanies, a personalised softshell jacket from Talk Racewear, and £100 parts voucher and t-shirts from PBS Brakes. And if you're registering for the Clio Sport, Cup 200, Classic Stock Hatch or Mazda 7s, you'll also be eligible for a 10% discount on the price of a set of Toyo Control tyres via Polysport as well. And if you're registering for Hot Hatch, Road Sports or Club Enduro, you'll be eligible for a 20% discount on Yokohama AO52, AO50s and AO48 tyres from Tarkside Development. All that information and more on the 750 Motor Club website.
That was a mouthful for you, Chris.
It certainly was, especially the 3 free stuff.
Yes.
I'm going to have a word with James about how he's worded that.
Yeah, marketing. That's a marketing ploy there for you. But what an incredible incentive as well. There's a lot of worry to do with the cost of motorsport. Depending on the type of category you're looking at, the type of car, and particularly the type of club, the cost isn't necessarily catastrophically high. And as we've already said, 750 Motor Club is so all-encompassing. You can pretty much race anything with an engine, and there will be a home for you here.
That is the spirit of the 750 Motor Club, the best value for money racing in the country, especially if you're looking at the Enduro Championship, the Club Enduro, some of the best value for money racing. You will see we're on board here with John Power, our pole sitter for the third and final race of the night. He's got Harvey Pullinger alongside him with Ben Goodwin and Colin Cunniff on the second row of the grid, with Keith Whitby and Alex Forster on the third row of the grid, then Finley Tidmarsh and Trafford King, Will Hartley and Dan Jude. Just further down the order, we are just 15 seconds away from the start of the third and final race, the Toyo Tyres Toyota MR2 Championship round of the first ever 750 Motor Club Sim Championship, powered by Grid Finder. It's about to come to a close as we've got the lights on now. We're underway, bit of jittering from the front row of the grid. Looks like Harvey Pullinger from the front row of the grid has made a nice start, but John Power is able to move across and hangs on to the lead going into Copse Corner for the first time. So it is the blue car of John Power who has...
The Maggots hairpin.
Colin Cunniff into back. Oh, and that was Parsonage going very wide into Maggots, and Pullinger taking second place straight back again. Looks like Parsonage is going to try and dispute this one down the Wellington Straight for the first time. Music to the ears of John Power, who's already a second clear before they get to Brooklands, but Pullinger and Parsonage disputing second place as they move into Brooklands for the first time. This is Colin Cunniff, who's got Keith Whitby for close company in fourth and fifth place. Ben Goodwin in sixth place, so he's dropped a couple of places from his grid position as they exit Luffield for the first time. It is John Power from Harvey Pullinger and Adam Parsonage, the top three.
The P's re-established up in the top three, or staying established, we should say. But Colin Cunniff determined to upset that particular party. Dan Jude up into seventh place ahead of William Hartley. As well as you would imagine in these early stages, lots of jostling, lots of arguing, lots of a fair few headlights being flashed as well. So it's interesting use of those. As we cut back to Adam Parsons again, just the nose diving. Is that a big move from Colin Cunniff? Dives to the inside line at the Maggots hairpin. Now that particular camera angle made it look like Colin came from a very long way back. I don't think he did. I think it's just the way that the camera looked. But he got the move done, a very decisive move to potentially put him up into a podium spot. Does Adam have to concede? Yes, Adam has to let that one go. So we now ride on board with the former podium occupant. Is he having a look around the outside of Luffield? Doesn't tend to work too well, but sometimes you kind of have no choice. You want to try and build up the momentum. But Keith Whitby on the inside line has taken that fourth spot. But Adam Parsons is doing what he can to challenge and hold on. But I don't think he can. There, eyes right. You'll see the blue car of Keith Whitby still side by side as they're coming down towards Copse, with Ben Goodwin along for the ride as well. Who's going to win out here? Oh, well, Corsa signed that man up to the cricket team. That was a great catch.
Difficult couple of corners there for the Type R racer, Adam Parsonage. He's dropped a couple of places. Ben Goodwin has found his way through as well, and Goodwin now trying to make a move on Keith Whitby for 4th place, trying to get that up and under through Maggots and joining the Wellington Straight. He may well have momentum, but he'd have the wrong line by the time they get down to Brooklands, although that momentum serving him very well indeed. How brave is Ben Goodwin feeling on the brakes? He's still got Whitby alongside him, so he's going to have to go the long way round, and Whitby is standing his ground here on the inside. Entering the frame as well is Trafford King in the green car, who's just made his way past Adam Parsonage and into 6th place. So suddenly Trafford King, and he's made his way past Whitby as well, taking advantage of the fact that Goodwin was finding his way through. So Goodwin's up into 4th place. Trafford King's followed him through as well. And our race 1 winner is now inside the top 5, having had a very difficult race 2, the reverse grid race. The move is not quite consolidated yet, though, as Keith Whitby was on his outside line, but into Cops Corner, Trafford King has got that 5th place pretty much secured. This battle for 4th place now 2.7 seconds behind the battle for 2nd.
And John Power continuing to pull away up front. 1.5 seconds now separates himself and Harvey Pullinger. So he is really in his element. You said earlier, Chris, that he's had several years in Assetto Corsa, which could be more than a significant percentage of the grid. So, and that home advantage, you could argue, is serving him very, very well indeed. Trafford King heavy on the brakes, coming into Woodcote once again. Oh, well held, sir. But that has cost him dearly on Ben Goodwin, as he's now having to just rebuild that. Two.
Yeah, Trafford King still holding that 5th place spot, but dropped to 1.1 seconds behind Ben Goodwin now, as Colin Cunniff in 3rd place has done the fastest lap of the race. We're at a third of the way through this final race of the night, and Harvey Pullinger is still having to defend here. We can see the red car of Pullinger defending from Colin Cunniff, the silver car in 3rd place. Remember, Pullinger was on the podium in that previous race. Lovely little up and under there from Cunniff. He's got the outside line now down the Wellington Straight, and that will give him the inside line for Brooklyn. So it looks like this is going to be Colin Cunniff's 2nd place. So he moves across, and yep, Colin Cunniff now up into 2nd place. Lovely little move there from Colin, the man who's done 2 appearances in the Alfa Romeo Championship back in 2021, and has been a bit on-off with his sim racing championships, but showing a good turn of speed here in the MR2s.
Absolutely superb, but Pullinger really made him work for that. That was not an easy move for Colin Cunniff to pull off. Still the man with the fastest lap with a weight 4.59. Well, it was until I was mentioning the fastest lap, and Trafford King reminding us he is still with us. 1:08.373 now on the board for the race 1 winner. Power from Cunniff, from Pullinger, our top 3. A little bit further back there is Keith Whitby on the back of Adam Parsonage, who's starting to recover a little bit from not quite such a straightforward start to this race as he enjoyed in the previous one, at least, with Will Hartley on his tail. And they've got about 4.5 seconds back to the next group, which is ahead, just as you can see, coming into shot there by James Madden. Keith Whitby, what can he do as we're coming up? So jumping out already, making a statement of intent. Is he? Trouble behind, as that is Will Hartley that is sent off into the shadow realm. Now, I suspect that was a missed braking zone there, but Will Hartley really suffering as a result.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of a coming together in the braking zone as well.
Oh,
and now he's this is Finley Tidmarsh, who's making contact with James Madden, that is. So that's a bit of a messy corner there for Tidmarsh and Madden. Well, more for Tidmarsh than Madden, really. Madden didn't really do anything wrong, did he? He was just sort of punted from behind. But yes, that incident down at Brooklands, I almost wonder if there was a bit of sort of netcode or connection potentially happening there, and that is just the nature of sim racing, actually, in the same way that in the real world you might have your engine suddenly blow up. In the sim world, although you don't often get mechanical sympathy problems, you do often get connectivity sympathy issues. So here is Trafford King still in that 5th place, looking at the back of Ben Goodwin. He's starting to recover that gap he lost with that big moment at Brooklands a few laps ago. We're just over half race distance now, and our race 1 winner is starting to claw back onto that battle for a spot on the podium. Ben Goodwin is within 3/4 of a second of Harvey Pullinger, who's got the last spot on the podium as well. Here's Alex Hurren, who was our race 2 pole sitter, don't forget, here on the inside of Jensen Swift in the white car, and getting very close on the exit of Luffield here. Jensen Swift, the karter turned sim racer, who's going to be on the outside line here, but got the momentum on that left-hand side. Plenty of cars trying to follow them through as well, as it almost looked like a 3 wide moment there, but Jensen Swift hanging on to 3rd place as Alex Aaron has to defend from Will Hartley, who's recovering from that moment we saw at Brooklands a few minutes ago. And it looks like he is going to get that place into Brooklands. He's side by side with Hurren, and the blue car there, that's Will Hartley, will have the inside line. Hurren's now got to defend from Sean Warby as well, who's got a nice run. And then Daniel Marshall and Andrew Cooper, all looking to challenge. There's a big moment on the middle of the straight for Alex Hurren there. Looks like he got into the back of the car in front, potentially. A miraculous save.
That looked wild, absolutely wild from Alex Hurren. Whoa, as Marshall was somewhat sideways there, but we've got a fantastic battle here forming for the last of the podium spots. Pullinger, Goodwin and King all in line to try and wrestle that 3rd spot away. And also a potential battle for the lead as well, as Cunniff is closing in on power. Pulling is now down into 5th position from 3rd to 5th in the space of a corner.
Goodwin now through into 3rd place. That red car, and they're having to, let's call it the orange car actually. Oh no, a big moment though for Goodwin, and Trafford King almost gets into the side. Pullinger has his own moment as well, and now Trafford King is into the podium places after that big moment there for Ben Goodwin, who is now back into 4th place. All that work, and he's in the same place he was just a few corners ago. Adam Parsonage here, we saw him battling for the podium in the early stages. Now he's got to keep his eye on Keith Whitby in that blue car. But Chris, you alluded to that battle for the lead. Less than 5 minutes to the go. Here is Colin Cunniff in the silver car, half a second away from our race 2 winner John Power.
Yes, absolutely so. Colin Cunniff wanting to wrestle away that top spot. What was making that battle for 3rd a little more chaotic was the fact there was a backmarker involved in there. Chris Humphreys was the man very much caught unawares there. He had nowhere to go. He was minding his own business, doing the right thing, as any car that's being lapped knows. You have to be predictable. You don't just jump off the racing line. Well, that's someone that did jump off the racing line. They could well have slid off it. Not sure who that was on the
Definitely
inside.
Slid. If one of them predictable, that wasn't.
Yes. But I'm not sure that was by intention. That was probably just a little bit of panic going on there. That was Pete Belsey that had his moment on the screen. As Finley Tidmarsh, we've seen having a few slightly less glamorous moments in this race, but he does get that inside line on Will Hartley for 9th position. So this group here all arguing for what is 9th place, a second or so back from Jensen Swift. Has got all sorts of great names and great battling going on here. Ford Jones, you started near the back of the field in this race, all the way up to 12th. As again, look at Alex Hurren ahead of him, getting having to catch the slide in these cars, which has been very characteristic of these cars. Bit understeery, but very, very prone to a snap of oversteer. So the drivers have really had to wrestle these cars. You do get into a flow, yes, but you can't just kind of relax, as Colin Cunniff very late on the brakes coming into the Maggots hairpin once again.
Yeah, this is the battle for the lead. Half a second separates the top 2 with less than 3 minutes to go now. Colin Cunniff, who we're on board with, chasing down John Power, our race 2 winner, started on pole for this one. As a result of it, he's led it from the start, but coming under big pressure now from Cunniff. Trafford King in 3rd place, but he is at 4.5 seconds back from this fight. So unless these two really start to take time off each other, Trafford King doesn't look like he's going to be in contention for a second win of the night. But John Power might just well be as they come across Woodcote and tick off another lap. It's their 11th lap they're about to tick off in this 15-minute race. And this is the battle for the honours in the final Toyota MR2 race of the night. This is the MR2 round. 5 different car track combos coming in the inaugural season of the 750 Motor Club Sim Championship, powered by Grid Finder. We saw Power going a little wide on the exit of Cops Corner there. Plenty of squabbling slightly further back as Steve Bentley loses a place here to Cooper in that 13th place. That's Andrew Cooper, who's just gone ahead in the red car. Steve Bentley here in the silver gets a big sideways moment through Cops Corner. I can tell you these cars do that in real life as well, actually. I've seen it happen quite a few times, especially when they're going side by side for the lead of the race. Jensen Swift still getting involved in the action. The kart racer turned sim racer, sitting there in 9th place at the moment, looking at the back of Finley Titmarsh for 8th position down the Wellington Straight. It's got Will Hartley, the recovering Will Hartley, close on his tail as well, but just over a minute to go. Now it's Jensen Swift. That's a big dive down the inside, but to no avail, although he did manage to scare Titmarsh off the road almost. He certainly scared him wide. And you see there the seesawing at the wheel. They're having to manhandle these cars, and power sliding on the exit as well. Very nicely done. Less than a minute left on the clock. So it looks like John Power and Colin Cunniff are on their last lap now, and they're separated by less than 0.3 of a second now, disputing this final win of the night. So plenty to look forward to. They're coming down the Wellington Straight. Here they are. This is the battle for the lead, coming into what is pretty much the last braking zone of the lap, and John Power is still fending off, but a bit of a twitch there. Colin Cunniff is right on the back bumper here of John Power. If he keeps it neat and tidy through Luffield for one last time, he should be able to power out of here into the lead of the race. John Power has defied expectation here. The man racing in his 60s. 40 years ago he was winning races in karting and in Formula Ford. Now he's winning multiple races in the sim racing world. He takes the victory in the third and final race of the night.
The flag!
No, they've gone across the line in time for one more lap. This is not over yet, Chris.
Wow, that must have been by thousands of a second they beat the flag by. I mean, I think in real life they would have put the flag out, but my goodness me, they both realised it. Wow, with a big Cunniff into the back of Power. I suspect Cunniff didn't quite realise where John was going, but that puts Trafford King up into 2nd place. John Power's not even going to be on the podium now as a result of that. Oh, goodness me. I mean, no ill intent, of course, but that, I suspect that beating of the flag caught both of them slightly unawares, as John has been pretty solid all race long, and suddenly he was really out of shape coming into the Maggotts hairpin. I think they were ready to call it a day, and suddenly had to get back on it again, and that slight break in kind of mental approach was enough to put John off.
Had John lapped just a 10th or 2 of a lap second slower, he would have won. The third and final race of the night to take the victory in race number 3. Trafford King adds a 2nd place finish to his victory in the first race of the weekend. Ben Goodwin makes it a 2nd podium of the night as well. In 3rd place, John Power, having led that from the start, gets across the line in 4th place in the end. Harvey Pullinger in 5th, Keith Whitby in 6th, Adam Parsonage in 7th, Will Hartley recovered to 8th place in the end. Jensen Swift across the line in 9th, ahead of Alex Hearn in the top 10.
What a race. What a night of racing we have had. It's, oh, goodness me, there's so much to unravel in that. There'll be a few words said about some of the incidents that have been seen, I have no doubt, but all in all, that has been a fantastic way to open a brilliant series for a wonderful racing club.
Certainly has. Tell you what, I'm looking forward to hearing from Colin Cunniff on the interview now. Hopefully we can get him in here in a few a few seconds time. But wow, yeah, what an end to the first night of racing for the 750 Motor Club Sim Championship, powered by Grid Finder. That is the Toyo Tires Toyota MO2 Championship round done and dusted. Round one of the series, of the championship here at Silverstone National. It'll be the Mazda 7s at Croft coming up next in round two of the championship on December 16th, the second of our 5 car track combinations that will be determining the ultimate champion of the 750 Motor Club Sim Championship. Remember, they're fighting for that Moser Racing bundle pedal wheel combo worth £500 and many other prizes to come for our second and third place drivers. And remember, all the podium finishes that we've seen here tonight get a Track Titan training subscription and a 750 Motor Club trophy as well. So hopefully it won't be long before we hear from our race winner, Colin Cunniff. I wonder if it's even being disputed as we speak, but certainly it was so close across the line, Chris. I mean, if it had happened a tenth or two earlier, that probably would have been the checkered flag.
But of course, the one thing that John Power didn't want to do was let off the gas and give Colin Cunniff any kind of opportunity to try and steal the win away on the line. So, yeah, this will be interesting when we do have a chance to chat.
And in fact, Colin joins us in the commentary box now. Colin, it's been an unbelievably dramatic night of racing, certainly for yourself. You've got yourself right into the thick of the action, but that last lap, just talk us through it.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to be very popular after that. Yeah,
Well-
I had no. It got sideways, and I've tried to go, and yeah, it didn't seem to be picking it up, and yeah, it's not a great feeling to do that. To be fair, I did get hit quite a lot during that, so I don't want to say it's karma, but yeah, that's not a way you want. That's not a way you want to win a race.
No, of course not. And it was a great fight up until that point, you pressuring John for that entire race. But you've been in the thick of the action all night long. How have you found it so far today?
Oh, it's really competitive. It's really close. Undertake. It's really close. It's really good.
Oh, sorry, Carl. I think we're having a few connection issues there. Yeah, just how does it compare to the Alfa Romeo Championship that you raced in 2021?
Oh, that thing will replace the real thing. If compared to, yeah, I mean that was like the best thing I've ever done, and I would love to do that again. But yeah, I mean I've been sim racing for so long that like this, I've not been done it for like a year or something like that. So to get into something competitive again, it really makes me realise how much I missed it.
So is that your plan for 2024 then, to do more of the sim racing leagues?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of other stuff, like real life stuff, in order to live. For the last year it's put off, so now that that's sort of by the wayside, I can concentrate on sim racing again.
Right, fantastic. Well, we look forward to seeing you out in the rest of the season. Of course, 4 more car track combinations still to come. How do you think you'll go in the Mazda 7s next time out?
I have no idea. I've never even tried it yet, so I've still to have a wee play around. But it's generally a very fun car to watch when I've seen it on track in this actual series. So yeah, I'll have a go and see what happens.
All right, fantastic. Well, we look forward to seeing you out there in the next round of the championship. Thanks for chatting to us, Colin. Congrats on the win.
Cheers.
Colin Cunniff there, our race 3 winner. Chris, I mean, what a way to kick things off in the championship.
Oh, what a way indeed. And what a different car we have to look forward to over in Croft. A very different car and a very different track as well. Croft, very twisty, very, very challenging. And the Mazda 7, well, I don't think you could get further removed from the Toyota Arma2. It's, whilst the engine size is a little bit smaller, it weighs about as much as a damp flannel. So they look amazing to chuck around, and yeah, I can't wait. If tonight was anything to go by, the next time out should be even better.
Yeah, a car pretty much defined by slipstreaming based on the low cost championship with a bit more power compared to the low cost. But that wraps things up from the first round of the championship for the 750 Motor Club Sim Championship powered by Grid Finder. We will see you on December 16th for the fabled Mazda 7s at Croft.
Grid Finder is the home of sim racing leagues. Our management tools allow you to recruit drivers and monitor their ratings and live splits. Find this and more at gridfinder.com. Sign up for free today.